mic'd up with Mikey Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie Boyd.
He tried to jump up, and he might have knocked it in.
Good timing. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys will come in and say,
oh, God. So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in the headlock. And he's sitting there. He's punching me in the stomach. Like, punching me.
Here, is everyone saying around, who here thinks Ochiko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad Jones. 6 minutes. For 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ochiko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
On the spirit plane had some issues, I think. She was sleep farting.
you heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Good show.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle?
My dad told you about it.
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like, they should
Players. Look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
You're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
He's like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Friday, April 18th. It is Good Friday, also known around these parts as Casual Friday. That's why I'm sitting down. It's nice and casual. Everybody had got to take a deep breath last night after the LSU game. I know in the 6th inning, everybody was panicking. Oh my God, we can't score. Our offense is not good anymore. They forgot how to hit.
Changing the lineup.
It's not good. It's just this and that. We've had opportunities, and they were right. They had opportunities to drive guys in, a lot with 2 outs. Did not get those jobs done. I thought Kate Anderson threw really well. Obviously gave up some solo homers. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. He threw well outside of that. And LSU's down 5-1 all of a sudden. Our guy. We talked about it. When is he going to get an opportunity? He's going to have opportunities to come off the bench, and he does it. Ashton Larson pinch hit 3-run homer, gets it in the game. Kason Evans, the shutdown closer that he is, comes in, keeps it close. Obviously, LSU's the next 3-run homer, takes a lead, extends the lead, and wins 11-6. Much needed SEC win in a game where majority of that game you didn't think you were going to have a chance to win. Obviously, LSU does. That seems like it could be the win to propel them into the offense to get back to what they want to be and what they have been. Big game tonight. You have, is it Quick? Whatever his last name is.
Riley Quick.
Riley Quick is their ace for Alabama. I think he has like a 3.1 ERA. He starts tonight. LSU trying to win the series tonight, and then hopefully the sweep tomorrow on Saturday before Easter, and then everybody gets to enjoy a nice little Easter break. Lloyd was in the number, which he said it was an electric crowd. It was electric moments, which we're going to talk about. Today is all about LSU baseball because it is a sprint of a show. We have 1 hour of this show. I'm letting all the boys are going to get off and enjoy the beautiful weather that is around Baton
One of
Rouge.
my favorite holidays.
And yeah, a lot of people are off of work. Offices are closed, and so we're gonna come here recap the game because it was a fun one, and then we're gonna go ahead and
Well, it wasn't
move on. It was a fun one.
until it was.
No, it was a fun. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're watching the game, and you're watching it, and it's
Easy to get frustrated.
listen. And I want to say this before we really get into the offense of the game. And I want to hear your perception of it or your perspective because you were there, Lloyd. Like you saw the energy and you felt the energy, and you could kind of feel it on like watching it on TV. The first 4 or 5 innings, 6 innings, when LSU kept coming up short with runners in scoring position, you could feel the groans in the stands. You could feel the murmuring. You could feel almost like boo-like. I don't think boos came out, but you felt like that was like they were teetering on.
It
that.
went from moans to groans to borderline boos to T
Right.
T-E-R-S, and we're back.
No doubt. And before we get into the offensive, the 2-inning offensive onslaught that really, got LSU to win the game, I want to give some credit to Kate Anderson. I know the numbers, the ERA and the earned runs last night are not going to be eye popping, but man, he had 0 walks all around the zone, and he was the balls that did not get hit, which weren't a lot. The few that got hit went over the fence, which is very unfortunate, but the balls that did not get hit were strikeouts. And he was very dominant. He was very, very impressive on the mound. And as a strike thrower and as a guy who's got elite stuff and throws a bunch of strikes, these guys are going to go up there and they're going to be swinging a lot. And they know that you throw strikes. And so sometimes really good pitchers that are all around the zone, they give up homers. He doesn't give up a ton of 3-run homers. He gives up a lot of solo homers. Obviously, he gave up, I think, 3 solos and 1 2-run homer. That's where the 5 runs come in. But he had double-digit strikeouts, 0 walks. Looked really, really, really good. And then Jacob Myers comes back in. 3rd straight outing, no runs. Not as efficient as the first 2, but effective. Got out the inning. Bridged the gap, 3-run homer. All of a sudden, now it's a 1-run game. Casey Evans comes in, does his thing, gets out that inning, and then boom, 3-run homer, lead. This is the conversation we had too, Lloyd. Off air, on the phone, recapping it, the show before the show, if you will. And this is the first time all year that Jay had to make a decision on Casey Evans. First time all year that Casey Evans comes into a game that's either you're winning by a little bit or down by a little bit, and he comes in there and the lead gets extended to where, okay, he's only thrown 2 innings, doesn't have a ton of pitches. It's a 5-run lead now, or 6-run lead now. Do we take him out or do we stretch him out and sit and burn him for the rest of the weekend? This is the first opportunity all year Jay had to make this decision. He went 2 1/3, got the last out in the, is it the 9th? Or the first out in the 9th? No. First out. When did he come out? He got 1 out in an inning. I don't know. Either way, he gets the 1 out, and then Jay takes him out with 35 pitches. And I'm like, okay, this tells me he's going to throw on Sunday. He's available for Sunday. That's why Jay took him out, puts in Connor Benj. Things got a little dicey. It was the 8th inning because Connor Benj got out of the 8th, I believe. And
Connor Benj did not record an out. He recorded 1 out and a ground out to second
Okay,
base.
so he didn't get out the 8th.
It was Myers that got you 1 out.
Right.
And then it was
Evans
until the top of the 9th where he gets you 1 out.
Right, that's right. So he got the 1 out in the 9th.
Yeah,
and then you bring in Connor Benj and he gets the rollover, but then he walks a guy in, and now it's 11-6, bases loaded. You know, things are getting a little dicey. Still feel in control. Zach Cowan comes in, gets 1 out, throws 4 pitches, gets out the game, seals the deal. Cowan is available for whenever they're ready for him to throw. He only threw 4 pitches. Not worried about that. The story is Casey Evans goes in there, gets the win, pitches flawlessly, and has the ability to throw again on Sunday, which I think is going to be very beneficial for LSU. It's the first time all year that's been an option.
It's the first time he's put Casey Evans in when LSU didn't have a lead.
Well, second time. First time is he had to throw in Texas.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't count.
Yeah, right.
But this was a high-leverage situation where you could still win.
This was like, hey, we hit the 3-run homer. We have the momentum where we cut this to 1. They can't score anymore because I think that we're going to score a lot more, and we need a guy who's going to be able to shut them down. That's what happened.
Yeah, you go into after you put up the 4 runs in the 7th, and you feel like all of the momentum is on your side, right? And you have a chance to win a baseball game. This is when you go and roll with it, because if you don't put up a 0 in that spot, because Alabama has answered every time. They were actually running away with it at one point. Then they start to LSU builds its momentum, puts up 3 in the 6th, and the big spot that you needed K7 was at the top of the 7th, because you're in the fight, you're down
and
1.
Things got dicey. Was it the 7th or the 8th?
7th.
When things got dicey, you had bases loaded, 2 outs, their best hitter on the at the plate, and he punches him out. Borderline controversial call, some would say. Umpire stunk.
We got to get this figured out in the SEC. Baseball's too good.
The umpire was not good on both sides. I'm not saying one way or the other. That was not the greatest call. I think that if they had if you had the robot umpires and they had the box in the strike zone, that ball would have been a lot closer to the bottom of the zone. I think it still may have been under the bottom of the zone, but it would have been a lot closer to the bottom of the zone than the way it looked like whenever Luis caught it. But regardless, strikes him out, big moment, best player on their team, and gets out of that inning, gets to the next inning, and that what you said. That's when you needed him the most, and so it was an interesting deal. Jared, welcome to the show.
Coming in hot, baby.
Coming in hot, baby.
The lefty and the righty.
Just like last night, LSU coming in hot. Coming in hot.
How we doing?
We're doing good. I just kind of went through the recap of the game. Lloyd was in the number. You watched the game? I know we were kind of texting a little bit about it.
Yeah, I did. I watched a good bit of the game.
You haven't heard anything that we said. You haven't heard really anything we said yet. Give me your take on the game. I want to see if we on the same page.
Kind of crazy what a difference of 3 games will do for you, huh? Because that team looked a little bit different.
3.5. 3.5 because after 5 innings.
Sleepwalking through the first 5 and then got it going a little bit. And I will agree with the sentiment of when my man was struggling behind that plate yesterday. And it wasn't just balls and strikes either.
Hey.
The out call at home, when Jake Brown sliding in was like, it wasn't even really that close.
Listen to me. We're actually texting. We're texting when that happened.
Punching him out too.
Yeah, and we were texting when that happened. First of all, before I get to the call, awesome fucking base running by Jake Brown right there. Yeah. Great by the third base coach. Great by Jake Brown. Jake Brown went in there, saw error, got up instantly, balls in front of him the whole way, never slows down, knows I'm going either the third base coach is waving me or I'm fucking going home regardless. Turns the corner, no hesitation. Any type of hesitation there, he's out, right? Honestly, a good throw home, he's probably out, right? But he throws the ball on the right side of the plate, and he's end up able to get in there. If it's a good throw and he's out, why send him? Because that's usually what happens. It's very hard for an outfielder to pick a ball, especially a ball that's an error, that's kind of staying still, not a normal come through the ball. It's very hard for an outfielder to pick it up, make a good throw home, the catcher catch it, and make the tag. A lot has to go right. Obviously, the throw is a little offline. Jake Brown scores. Watching the game, that play wasn't close in my mind. I mean, obviously, you look on the replay, and it was closer than the eye, but definitely not a bang him out. It's a, hey, let's call him safe, and if he's out because the guy got the top of the thing, then – but, like, it wasn't even – and the umpire was in good position to make a call, and that was a horrendous call.
I think he was looking for the punch out.
Horrendous.
He wanted the big show.
I think he got mad when Jake Brown said, I'm safe. You know?
Yeah, he didn't even give like a let me see the ball or anything. It was literally like, no, you're 100% out as soon as I saw you kind of slide right there. And he missed that. He missed that by a mile.
They didn't even have time to put the replay on the big board.
Yeah, he's safe. Yeah.
He didn't want to get embarrassed by LSU's forensic team that had zoomed in.
Hey, I will say this. Can we get like a golf clap for Mr. Ethan Fry?
Yep.
Battle.
This is the big time we've been waiting on.
Hey.
This is what I promise you this, and I'm not saying it's just about the homer, but like I've talked about before, I personally think those kind of swings, that at bat, what he can bring to a lineup is what opens up the rest of the game. I think the rest of the game, the score ended up being like 11-1.
Yeah.
Like from that fifth inning on through the game, it was like 11-1. But like those kind of swings is kind of that is the pressure that someone like that, once they start showing you that they can do it, that you end up putting on a pitching staff, because they always have you and Bear Jones and guys like that in the back of their mind, and it opens it up for the Milums, because it just does, man. And it gets so many more mistake pitches to happen and so many more opportunities to happen for the lineup, because they know they feel that pressure of, man, I don't want this dude to be up there. Let me try to be perfect here. You just do a little too much. You try to put a little too much emphasis on every other pitch that you're throwing, because that's the mental warfare that guys like Bear Jones and Ethan Fry and Luis Hernandez, if they're showing that they can do what they can do on the weekends, that's the mental stress you put on pitchers.
Yeah, no doubt. And let's give another golf clap. We talked about this last week. Ashton Larson was going to have an opportunity to make an impact. Golf clap to Ashton Larson. Maybe to this point in the season, biggest swing of the year. Biggest swing of the year.
Yeah, you were kind of teetering right there, and it was kind of going towards one of those, like the first five was kind of put you in that feel like, all right, man, like this is what they look like when a team falls into a 2-week slump and it's hard to get out of right now. And insert Ashton Larson, insert the absolute turnaround and flip of that game. So that was beautiful what he did. And you have to give so much credit to Ashton for going through what he's gone through at this point of the season, man. That's not easy.
No.
I don't give a damn if you're 19 or 39. What he's going through this year is not easy. And to be ready in a spot like this, I don't care how many at-bats he's had over the last 3 or 4 weeks. After what happened the last weekend, and then you go into the first 5 innings of this game and it's going this way, it's quiet. There's a lot of quiet people, and if you don't have that at bat, you probably don't spring forward to where you are right now in terms of, like, I expect them to that's the kind of at bats that gets a team out of ruts. Like, I think they showed it before the game started, and we talked about it last week because I kind of highlighted like 3 through 7 and 1 and 2 in the lineup. But the team as a whole last weekend hit like 170 or 180 something. That doesn't happen, dude.
Right.
Like, that's how much of an outlier it was. But if you let that shit fester, it doesn't get better quick enough, and it doesn't get good enough quick enough. And Larson, what he was able to come in and do in the game was impressive.
Impressive. And I think the other thing is, damn, I thought we got over this. The other thing that we talked about, you talked about Fry hitting the homer, right? That is a big move. One, because he's been having that good at bats throughout the course of the year, has yet to have a big impact in SEC play, like you mentioned. That was the big impact. Needed that. I think that's going to allow him to continue to do this. But a lot of people are still like, oh, Bear Jones. Because, listen, you watch him last night, and you can tell he is pressing a little bit. You can tell he's not seeing it as well as he wants to see it, which is normal, right? That happens through the course of the year. And me and you have talked about this in the years past. There are stages to slumps, or there's stages to the season. First stage, you're feeling great. You can't get out. Nothing. Everything you see, everything you touch ends up being a hit, homer, walk, whatever it is. Then you get to the side, well, damn, I'm still feeling good, but now I'm just kind of missing some pitches, fly ball, maybe some line outs. Maybe, I'm seeing the ball really well, but just not getting the hits. That leads to then, okay, I'm not seeing the ball well at all. Now I'm starting to press a little bit because I don't know why I'm not seeing it well. I was just seeing it well 2 weeks ago. Then you get to the point after that where it's like, okay, now I'm starting to hit the ball better, outs. And then the final stage of that is absolute white hot, all over the place, hitting homers all over the place, similar to what he did last year. I'm saying that to say, let's not all get on Bear Jones' back and say he's not good, he can't do this. He's going through that part of the stage right now. And I firmly believe that the back half of that stage, like the good part of the stage, is right around the corner, and it's going to be the perfect time of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to go through that up and down. Like, it's not going to be perfect. So when it's not perfect, I mean, we already talked about this. Like, you're not going to find, like, go back through the years of watching SEC play, and there is far and very few, instances where that team that somehow ran off and won 23, 24 games in SEC play runs the table or runs through the postseason. Shit's hard to do, man. Like, it's hard to play that good a ball in this good of a conference for that long without you hitting the rut somewhere after.
Yep.
It's just part of baseball. So I want you to kind of go through the shit mode in this league, because you go through the shit mode in this league means you have better coming out on the other side. Yep. It also means you learned how to come out against very good teams. That all bodes well for you when you get to the postseason, and 100%. That's kind of what you're looking at going forward here. And I hope that's where they're able to kind of take this thing.
Well, look, remember at the beginning of the season we talked about, they are bottom of the SEC in homers, but they're hitting a bunch of doubles, scoring a bunch of runs, all that kind of stuff. That's great, right? That's what you want the offense to do. You don't want to just rely on homers. Then they went to this stretch right after that where, all they're hitting right now is homers. They went from hitting like maybe 10th or 11th in the SEC to homers to 3rd or 4th, I think. And so then you're like, oh, well, then they're not hitting homers again. They're hitting 9. And all of a sudden last night they hit 3. It's like, hey, that also has its ebbs and flows. And they're about to go through, I think they're about to go through this little home run barrage again. And they're going to, it's going to teeter back and forth. They may jump back to 5th in the SEC in homers and then end up somewhere in the middle. We don't expect them to lead the league. I'm saying that to say baseball is so cyclical and it's just it's ups and down. You just got to stay with it. And the things are going to pan out at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and look, at the end of the day, let's just tell the truth about it. They're not a home run hitting team.
No.
Even if they end up 6th.
Right.
If they end up, I expect them to end up somewhere 5th, 6th through 9th-ish, somewhere in the middling spot. They're not a home run hitting team.
Right.
But what they are doing is they're still leading the league in doubles, or they're near the top of the league in doubles. So if you can kind of hold your water and stay afloat by hitting homers, but you hit a ton of doubles. You get a ton of people on. You're able to go 1st to 3rd or 1st to home. You're able to do these things. It kind of looks different, I guess, visually, but you're still having that same kind of impact. Because if I had to check, if I had to guess, they're still probably somewhere near the top of the league in runs scored. That, at the end of the day, is what you're trying to do. Yeah. And they're finding those ways to do that. So it's not like we're sitting here watching a bad offense. They're top 3, I believe, in average in the league. Their leading league in doubles are right near 1 or 2. Like, if you're able to do these things, and just because you're not leading the league in the big homer doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think it was a much needed win, but it was much needed confidence boost for the offense to get back going. 2 big swings, 3-run homer by Larson, and then the 3-run home run by Milam, which was a bomb. Both of those swings, obviously, we hadn't seen that in a little bit. It was nice to see it. I believe that it's going to propel them to continue to have some more offensive. The monkey's off their back now. And whenever you're not scoring runs and things aren't going the right way, you're not driving guys in runners in scoring position, you start putting pressure on it because it's just not everybody's talking about it. You can feel it. You just need to get a couple of them, and that's what happened last night. And now they are moving on to game 2 of the series. The ace for Alabama, Riley Quick, is on the mound against Ianson, who has been good, and it should be another good competitive game tonight. What you think about?
This by the way, sidebar. This has been their best arm so far this year. Yep. Obviously, they threw somebody else in the start yesterday, and he went out there and did a good job, right? Like, he hasn't been a starter for them. They weren't expecting him to get 5 or whatever out of him, but he did a good job. The guy that right now that's going to throw tonight has been their best arm, has been their best starter. So you got one, you took one from them yesterday after the way you started. It'd be big if they can go and get one here today and not have to go into a rubber match on Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, Saturday.
No doubt. And look, we've talked about how competitive these series are every weekend, right? LSU wins a game. It ends up winning it handily, but it was a tight game for a while. Wins are hard to come by. South Carolina beats Ole Miss last night, 3-2. Right? Big win for South Carolina. They finally won one of those close games that they haven't been winning. Vanderbilt beats Georgia 3-1 last night.
Yep.
Texas pulls it off, 3-2 against Auburn. Really good game. Texas has been winning those games a lot. Obviously, that is why they are 14-2 in conference. Oklahoma takes care of Missouri. That's a given. Texas A&M beats Arkansas 7-4. Right? So, A&M's getting hot. They're 7-9. But my point in saying all this is the competition and the weekends, like we've mentioned, are extremely hard and difficult to navigate through. And as shown by the games last night, South Carolina beating Ole Miss is probably the biggest one. They're not ranked. They're 2-12 and 2-13 in the SEC. They beat Ole Miss, who was playing really good baseball. And yeah, I mean, it's going to be every weekend's a battle from here on out. And so the fact that LSU was able to weather the storm and it hasn't been that long, I think it's gonna bode well for them in the stretch run. And I'm actually happy Jared Jones isn't locked in right now, because I know he's going to be locked in when it matters in the last 3 or 4 weekends of the season. And you're playing Tennessee, Arkansas, A&M, and on the road South Carolina.
And I just want to kind of give a little bit about the South Carolina thing, man. Like I'm being honest. That's what we talked about, right? Like, we know how Managerial coaches and we know how he goes about his teams. They have not been great to start the year. They go to A&M, who, is feeling themselves. Like, we can sit here and look at A&M's record. I understand that completely. But we also have to forget that the start of the year, like, it was pretty much a landslide. Like, everybody was like, A&M's the number 1 team in the country. Everybody else is playing for second place. So it's not like they didn't have talent. So that team that's feeling themselves, that started slow, goes to goes to Tennessee and beats them in their house, right? They come home and start feeling good about themselves. That same South Carolina team took them to the brink for 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
Let's just tell the truth.
3 games
in a row. So I knew that coming into this weekend, 2 games, because they got beat by three possessions on Saturday.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I messed it. 17-0, they got beat by 3 possessions Saturday. But I will say this. Getting beat by 3 possessions, you know how Coach Managerial is. You knew that they were going to come and fight that next game. They were up by 10 runs.
Yeah.
They still gave it. I get it. I understand that. But my point to it is when the Coach Managerial and the Coach Managerial teams I've seen go through stuff like this, you find out real quick who you got on your team, because he's that kind of coach. He wants to know, right?
Correct.
I'm not surprised that they went to Ole Miss and beat him. Like, I'm just not. Like, I know, and that what I'm saying by that is, like, that is going to be a tough series at the end of the year. I promise you it will be. And I don't know exactly where LSU is going to be in the polls or in the standings, but that series is going to mean something for this LSU team.
Yep, for sure. 100%. Lloyd, you were in the number. Tell me about it. Give me the feel of the stadium. We talked about it. You could feel it through the screen a little bit. It felt like the first 5 innings, there was a lot of moans and groans, and there was almost borderline boos. I'm not saying they were booing, but it felt like we're on the cusp.
A lot of figure the fuck out.
Yeah, so give me the feelings of the stadium.
I think one of the most bizarre, maybe, stat lines you'll see from Cade Anderson going into until he gives up. Yeah, but that's probably
he pitched great.
Yeah,
like I said, I don't care about the solo homers. He throws a ton of strikes. They're gonna run into a couple of them.
But that's kind of where the crowd was, I guess. Like, you give up a solo shot, then you give up one to Brady Neal. And then it became, then it was 2. Like, LSU was able to scratch one across, make it 2-1, and it became like a waiting game of, okay, Cade Anderson's pitching well. Then this is where the tipping point after he gives up, and this is where I thought he was pitching well going into, I believe it was the 5th or the 6th when he got pulled.
6th.
The 6th, like, gets a quick strikeout.
2 quick outs.
Then he gets another quick out, and you're like, oh, he might be able to go.
Then he's down. He's up 1-2 on the next guy. Like damn, this guy.
He's found it again. Like, this is when because we saw it happen during the complete game when everyone's like, oh, he's going to start mowing people down, and maybe he'll get to the 7th. Then you know what the formula is from that point. And then obviously gives up the elevated fastball that got absolutely
tomahawk
at his eyeballs.
No business hitting that ball.
And gets singles, and then you give up a homer, and then it's like, okay, start looking towards the bullpen.
Another homer.
And then that's when the walls kind of caved in a little bit from what is Alec Box of, Jay Johnson didn't even have anybody in the fucking bullpen. What are we doing? All of this, all of that. It's like, Cade Anderson was, and he does, by the way, have people in the bullpen.
And here's the deal. These bullpen guys, it takes them 37 seconds
to get ready.
And
I think he had multiple arms in the bullpen, but at that point didn't want to use those arms.
Because there's no reason.
Exactly. So he sprints Myers down there. Myers gets ready, and you see them have a meeting with the pitching coach. More modes and grows.
Some picks off at second.
A couple of, pick off except then a team meeting on the mound, and then Jay comes out, and you're like, okay, Myers is ready. Myers comes in, and he's earned that spot. Like, from what he's done the past 2 games, he gets in there a little shaky, a little dicey.
Gets out of it.
And you can still see the potential where it's like
97 straight downhill. And Ben McDonald did a really good job of explaining why his fastball, we call it a bowling ball fastball, heavy. One, he's throwing it from the moon. His release point's 7 feet tall, and he's coming straight down over the top of it. And the ball, I think Ben McDonald said that the average Major League fastball revolutions or carries 2,200 RPMs. And Jacob Myers just over 2,600 RPMs,
God.
which means this ball looks like it's a fucking elevator ball, right? And so you see why. And it's not like it's 92. It's 97, 98.
Consistent.
And it's coming in there hard. And so
You can see why he's.
and he broke off the 88-mile-an-hour cutter, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, my God.
Well, get me overcut.
Yeah, I was like, that was kind of filthy. Let's throw that one more. But you can see his potential. Obviously, the strikes is the thing. And he got in trouble, but got out of trouble, and that's all that matters.
And the way that, look, you can't keep a good man down. I expect LeBron to have an excellent, next 2 games, but he came out in some big spots, and they were able to get him out.
Yep.
But going from that point forward, this is when it was at its peak, right? LSU was down, 3, 4, 5-1. And then you start seeing, and then can we get another little golf clap for the master himself, Mr. Chesapeake game, pushing all the right buttons,
yeah.
pushing all the right buttons. Hey, this offense needs a spark. Let's get some other guys in there. And you see him do the double switch he put in Little Pearson, John Pearson.
Big John Pearson.
Then they go to a righty instead. All right, let's
let's
get
bring
Big
in
Brother.
Little Pearson.
Let's bring in Little Big Pearson.
Yeah.
And so he puts the brother in,
Base
immediately
hit.
gets a hit.
Yep.
And then you see Larson come in, and you're like, a lot of oh, haven't seen him in a second.
Breaking ball.
Hammered.
Homer.
And that's what everybody was like, okay, that's where you have to give Jay credit. The crowd got back into it. Then you see Evans come in, and it's like, okay, LSU is holding the rope right here for a one-run deficit. You get to the next inning. It felt inevitable. Stephen Milam has a penchant a little bit for the dramatic.
Yep.
And this is I was talking to the people around me, as one does, who's the most negative people on the planet. But I was like, this is kind of the time that you need Milam to have a moment here, because he's been, I want to say struggling, but Jay talked about it a little bit with, y'all don't understand the rigors of playing shortstop every day.
No doubt.
Same thing with Luis Hernandez behind the plate, who we knew was sick. So you have to wash that away. Didn't feel great, had to go out there and play. And another golf clap for Aaron Beatty behind the plate.
Hey.
He was tough.
Hey, when Aaron Beatty came in at the back half of the game, that was the best I've seen him catch.
Ever. Yeah.
He was blocking spiked fastballs.
He had a huge block spike fastball that would have advanced runners.
And he got up and kept it in front of him, too. It didn't, kick off. And
bodied it.
And Malazzo's coming here and talked about, you don't expect to block a fastball. When you throw a fastball, you don't say, hey, I need this in the dirt. That's not what happens. So it's the hardest one to block because of that.
Yeah, you can't, because he talks about how you have guys, if it's a pitch that I know that you're going to overthrow, it's usually a breaking ball, it's I can guess to which side you're going to miss. Fastball, you have no clue. It's you're just playing blind out there.
Right.
And for him to be able to body that one up kept the momentum from getting away, because there was a time when LSU threw one from the outfield that Dickinson slipped and it gets past him, and everybody's like, look at this clown show. And LSU was able to rein it back in, played great defense all night. Not a lot of concern about the shift. Seems like Alabama seemed to hit into it quite a bit.
There was one play, I think it was in the back half of the game, where they hit into the shift. And I'm not saying had they been playing straight up that it wouldn't have been a hit, because I think it may have maybe gotten through the middle depending on where Dickinson was. But there was no double play.
Yeah,
you couldn't turn. But also the guys were moving anyway.
Yeah, and you had Milam trying to cover, and Dickinson, maybe I'll go run and touch the base. He gets, fuck it, I'm just throwing it to first. Great awareness.
Right, which is, look, that happens sometimes. I don't think they would have been able to get him anyway because they're on the move, but
still, got it
out. You get that? Yeah, exactly.
But
I will say this, too. I think probably one of the bigger – you kind of talked about it a little bit, but I do think one of the bigger moves that Jay made in the game, because he made some very good moves. The Pearson, and obviously – Pearson and then Lawson, those two back-to-back, being back-to-back and how impactful they were in the game were great. Don't overlook Case and Evans coming in down 1 in the 7th.
Yes.
Because if you burn him right there, you may be able to throw him, depending on how many pitches he throws. You may be able to throw him on Sunday again, but if you burn him right there, it may hurt you for the weekend. And so you use him in that spot, you keep the score at a 1-run game, and you actually take the lead. That was huge in that situation.
Well, and I think we talk about using your eyeballs and using your baseball brain. That's using your baseball brain there and understanding the moment, understanding the momentum change. The 3-run homer, now it's a 1-run game. You have all the momentum. You have got to keep that momentum, and you have a really good chance of winning this game now. So let's bring in our best guy, shut it down, keep that momentum, and it worked out, obviously. And then the other thing with Case and Evans that we were talking about right before you got on here, Jay, is this is the first time all year that Jay had the opportunity, Jay Johnson had the opportunity to make a decision to where they can use Case and Evans again, right? He comes in with a one-run deficit. He pitches, throws 2 innings. They're all of a sudden they're up by 6 runs, and you don't really necessarily need him to finish out the game. But I was like, is he going to allow him to finish and burn him for the weekend, or is he going to take him out because it's a 6-run deficit and have him for Sunday? Takes him out with 35 pitches, and the only reason you do that in that juncture of the game is to have him available for Sunday. Because if you didn't have him, if he wasn't available for Sunday, he's getting the last 2 outs and it's it. And so that was also an interesting move, which I think was a good move, to have him available on Sunday on Game 3.
Right, and
I think it's a two-faceted move. Man. Like I would say that part of the decision is still 80% or more the reason why you do it. But you also do it, right? Like you come in that situation and you bring Cowan in because now I'm going to finish the game here. He's not going to throw a lot, but I'm going to move forward. This is going to give the opportunity for someone else to come in and, once again, show me that you can do this thing. I got Myers to get there a little bit. Show me you can do this thing. Somebody else is going to have to grab the rope and pull as well because we're not going to get through this whole season with just 3 bullpen guys.
Right.
Somebody else is going to have to come do it. So you're going to have to see that the rest of this series.
Right. Well, and Cowan came in as a, hey, all right, enough's enough. Because they put Connor Benj in, and Connor Benj struggled, ended up walking the guy in, and, ended up making it kind of interesting if Alabama hits a double and gets it within, 2 or 3 runs and makes a difference. They're still up 5, and they bring Cowan in, he throws 4 pitches. He's obviously good to go for whenever they need him to throw. I know Jay was probably hoping not to throw him, but it was like, all right, enough's enough. I've seen enough. Get me out of this game, and let's get on to Game 2.
Yeah, and for the
Well, you got it to like a 5-run game. He brought him in with still a 5-run game in terms of like
bases
let's
loaded.
Say he comes
Right.
in the situation, he's bases loaded 5-run game. Say he comes in, throws in the odd situation, throws 1 ball, and that shit gets lost. And now it's a 1-run ball game with nobody on. Here you go.
Yeah,
like
right.
at least we have this. Like I don't want to run into something unfortunate to where maybe they hit the double down the line to clear the bases, maybe they hit the homer, and now it's a 1-run game.
And now you're bringing Cowan in. Yeah, you gave him the opportunity to kind of save it for himself, and he comes in and
you give him the opportunity to have a clean sheet. Like,
yeah.
If the worst of the worst happens right here, wipe it, clean sheet, go get him.
Yep.
Right, and then people would be clamoring for Cowan to be in the game. But I think that for the crowd, you burned him. Like he threw 4 pitches.
He threw 4 pitches. He didn't burn anybody.
He threw more in the bullpen than he did in the game.
And look, now you have your 2 best guys. Cowan's going to be the first guy out the pin, I would imagine, tonight. But do you also have Case and Evans available for probably an inning, at least an inning on Game 3, which is a huge way to go into the weekend.
Because I saw some conjecture that Jay overmanaged the 9th inning, and I was like, I don't see how that's the case, considering when you pulled Evans, you come in, allow him to get the first out, which he did quickly, and then it's all right. You're at 35 pitches, you can use them again. You're actually managing it the exact right way to be able to maximize the arms that you have in the pen. Benj, you gave him every opportunity, almost maybe too much of a leash, to go in there and figure it out, because he hasn't been a guy that walks a ton of people.
No, he does.
And then, no, I don't think he's walked somebody since Mississippi State.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I don't know if it's true or not, but he's been a guy that Jay has trusted in high-leverage situations. He called him it was on the show. He's like, he's like our fire guy. Like when there's a fire, I trust him to go in there and put the flames out. And Benj comes in, doesn't do that, does the exact opposite, and then you do have to go to. I don't think that you were wrong to go in and go to Cowan immediately. Get out the game. Get out with a win. A game that you feel like you kind of, would you say, stole it?
Stole the game?
Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I do kind of think that because like that game was stolen. Not that it shouldn't have been won, but where it was in the 5th inning,
right.
It was stolen.
Right. If you could have live bet it like you should have, then you felt like you were on the right side of history. But and that's what goes to. You have to give Jay and LSU credit for putting Evans in when they did to look, Alabama's going clearly all bullpen. At some point, we're going to get to one of these guys, and we do, like, the water's going to cave in. Like, they threw 7 guys last night, and once you kind of got that lineup to start turning over, we sat next to the bullpen. They were going arm after arm after arm, and if you're Jay and it's a 1-run game, you're like, well, we got our guy for the next 3.
Yeah.
And we're going to see what we can do to their bullpen when they have to start trying to play matchup baseball, and who has a better lineup to try to do that against an LSU. Probably the worst one you can do it with, because I've got a litany of people in here that I can play matchup baseball with you too.
Right.
And so to trust the LSU offense and that, hey, like you said, see it with your eyes. Like this thing's about to get rolling a little bit for the LSU offense. Put Evans out there. You have to put up a 0, puts up a 0, and it was a dicey spot where you get obviously the strike 3 call on LeBron, and then it became, okay, let the floodgates open. And another, I thought, was a great move to have Jake Brown bunt and be able to score one more insurance run, just to be able to like add one more to the total. Like it would have been an easy spot to let him swing.
Also, great bunt by Jake Brown. I mean, he was probably 6 inches away from getting past the pitcher and it being a base hit.
Yeah, so I thought all of that was from the 5th on. It turned into like manager versus manager,
no doubt. And look, and that gives
trusted your guys.
That kind of leads me into the conversation about tonight's game, right? You talk about the offense getting going, the offense finally. I feel like the offense tonight's gonna come out swinging hot. Like they're not gonna wait to the 7th inning to get a couple big homers. Like I feel like what happened last night was a big. For the team. And I feel like there's a big win, big momentum shifter, and I feel like you're gonna see that offense respond to that early on in the game tonight.
Do you think that
even with their ace on the mound? I'm not saying they're gonna score 15 runs early.
I'm about to say I'll be surprised. Like there may be some better bats, but the guy that's gonna throw tonight, he's good. Like he's a good arm. He's got a 3-1 on the year. He's a good arm. So I expect him to kind of go out there and do what he's done all year, but I expect him to have better at bats. I still think this will be a very close ball game, at least until he's out of the game.
No, me too. I'm not saying they're going to go and score 7 runs early. I just don't think it's going to be like where you feel like they're just coming up and going back to the dugout, coming up, going back to the dugout. I feel like they may score 2 or 3 runs off of them and scratch it through, which is what they've been doing all year. And I think you're going to see more of that as opposed to, damn, we got runners on first and second, no, two outs, and go down feebly to the dugout, right? Or runners on third base with less than 2 and
can't get him in.
Bat at bat, go in the dugout. I think you're going to see the offense get back to what they've normally done because of the momentum shifter that they had at the back end of yesterday.
Do we have to – I know you touched on Bear Jones, but there was a point, I believe, in the 5th or maybe going to the 6th, where you had – Bear Jones 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Ethan Fry 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. Hernandez 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, what about
0 for 6. No, I'm just saying, is there a point where is there a real level of concern, or do you think this is just a part
of it, dude?
A part of it.
It's part of it, you know. And look, Bear Jones
feels like he's forcing
in that situation. Bear Jones 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts. He had a 10-pitch at bat and walked.
Yep.
Like, guys grinding, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see your star guy in the middle of the lineup who's supposed to drive in all these guys, have 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts, and cash it in, and just start swinging at everything and not found. He's battling his way through it, which is what you want to see.
Yeah, because Jay has talked about this too. Whenever they've been in bad spots, whether it be down in a game or he's not playing well, he's still first guy top step of the dugout. Like that's kind of who Bear is. So that's a guy that can turn it around, but you do need him to be able to give you something, and I think you saw what he can do because he also singled in that game. He drew a walk, got a single, kind of figured it out a little bit instead of felt like he was pressing, swinging a lot, trying to do something to change the momentum of the game early on. But those are the guys in the lineup that, and Jared's talked about this, like you kind of need, if it's not Bear Jones, like if he's going to be the only guy, you need somebody else, and you saw Fry be that guy. Like we.
And that's kind of like I feel like I'm putting a lot of pressure on him by either directly saying it or indirectly saying it. And the truth of it is, I'm not really putting the pressure on him. I just think it's you get someone like him to come into the lineup and do something big. And I've been waiting for him to announce himself on the weekend. It didn't have to come as a homer. It could have literally just been a double in a gap, like a barreled up double, not a rollover line drive or a fish hook line drive down the left field line, like an actual barreled up double to either the gaps or somewhere over the middle of the field where people are like, oh my God, that ball was blasted. You give me something like that, and I thought that was the introduction to the weekend to the SEC that Ethan Fry needed to kind of springboard him, but also to put the conference on notice, like, hey, you're not going to be able to kind of pitch around and mess around with Jared anymore. Mm-hmm. There is somebody behind him. Like, there's somebody that you feel scared of. Not that, hey, we saw his numbers from this midweek game that, oh, shit, he did this in this conference too.
Right.
And I do think something like that is going to push this thing forward.
Yeah. And that's why, a lot of the averages are elevated because both Bear Jones and Ethan Fry have absolutely murdered midweek pitching. But Fry, to your point, it wasn't just the homer. What got him going was a lace single up the middle. and it's like that was all barrel.
Yeah.
And then he got going after that, and then obviously to have the Milam moment, which is something that you've kind of been waiting for all year, and then that's going to springboard him because he lives for those moments. Like that's what gets him going. And also at some point, I don't know what more you want from Cade Anderson if he's going to get like umpired like that. If you don't give him calls on the corners and he has to serve you up fastballs, like.
No, listen, I have zero concern.
No, I'm just saying, like, he's going to give up
pitched.
homers if that's the way it's going to go. Like, if he's not getting corner fastballs in an 0-2 count, it's like here.
And that's what, look, we've talked about this.
He's not going to walk anybody.
When Aaron Nola gives up runs, he gives them up based off those solo homers, right? You're going to run into some pitches because he doesn't throw a bunch of balls, and he is really good around the zone, and he has really good stuff, right? Kevin Gausman, he gave up homers, when he was there. Lewis Coleman, Anthony Renato, all those guys give up home runs because they all had electric stuff and they're all over the plate. And these guys know that you're over the plate, and so they're going to swing. And they're going to swing and miss at a bunch, but they're going to run into a few, and the few that they run into end up being solo homers.
Yeah, I'm looking back through it because I just want to see, I wanted to see how much we actually, have the Paul Skeens goggles on and, what people thinking, we're seeing it as opposed to what we're actually seeing. So I'm trying to find, the numbers of guys like Gausman and people like that when they were here and what it looked like, what they were putting up, what were they doing, so people can truly understand, what you're getting from Cade is real ace stuff. I get it. I get it. But this is, a guy that's going to go out there. He's going to throw really well for you. You got Aaron Nola, who's, for the most part of his big league career, I think we can easily sit here and say he's been an ace in the big leagues. Yep. So being an ace in the big leagues, that is there is the 1% of 1% good pitchers that get there. There's a lot of guys that were a Friday night guy in the league. I mean, in the SEC that turned out to be an everyday number 3 in a rotation. Being an ace in the league is a completely different stratosphere of type of pitcher, right? And there is so few guys, and I get it. Think about, remember the big lefty and the big-ass righty that Florida had a couple years ago that was dominant in the league? They're not aces in the league because that's a different level.
Right.
They had ace mentality stuff. That's a different level. You even think about guys like Brady Singer. Brady Singer's on from his first team, and he's probably somewhere a 2 or 3, and I'm not saying that that's bad. It's not. But being an ace in the league is completely different stuff, and you have to understand that. So when you're sitting here watching Cade do what he's doing, Cade is every bit of a Friday night SEC starter, and he's a very, very, very good one. Does he have the opportunity to be an ace at the next level? Yeah, I do, because I think guys like that have that kind of command when they pitch, it's a different level. And then now when you can do that, and you can do it week in and week out and refine some of the stuff that he does that he's still learning to do, it becomes a different game. So he has the opportunity to do that. But let's not mistake it. He is every bit of a Friday night starter in this league. And stop looking at it as if it's something else.
He's going to continue to – everybody has to remember, this is his first year starting in the SEC. And he didn't have the slider, which is probably his best pitch right now, last year. Right? His changeup has developed. His breaking ball, which was, hey, this is super nasty, he barely throws it, right? So he has developed significantly through one year to the next, and I believe every year it's going to continue to tick up, and I believe you're going to look up and watch him pitch in the big leagues, and you're going to be like, damn, he's sitting 95 miles an hour with his fastball? Yeah, because his arm action commands it. He's going to continue to get stronger, and it's going to get better. You see that happen all the time. These guys were, 93 to 96 or 93 to 95, whatever in college, and then all of a sudden they're in the big leagues. You're like, damn, this guy's sitting 95 miles an hour. He touched 95 in college, didn't sit it, and that just happens with development and getting stronger.
Yeah, so that's where he's at.
Yep.
I don't
Two-page thread on Tiger droppings. 11 given up since he threw 135 pitches.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So, I mean, what are we saying? That 135 pitches that he threw came in a, 1-run or 2-run ball game where over the last 3 or 4 innings that he threw, they had guys up and I think he got 12 or 13 straight outs.
Yeah.
We needed every one of them 135. Right. So maybe if we take them out, we don't win there. Maybe you don't win the next day because of who you burned in that game. It doesn't work that way, dude. That was warranted. And obviously, probably won't be as sharp the next time you're out. That's okay.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you're wrong for doing what you did the time before.
And it hasn't affected him in the. I don't believe that 135 has affected him here. I mean, last night he was sharp. Maybe the sharpest he's been all year. To be honest with you,
It's fair to say he wasn't super sharp last week.
Right.
I think that's fair.
100%.
But last night was fine.
He was sharp.
That's a good hitting ball club.
He was sharp. He didn't walk one guy, and he punched out a ton of guys, and guys just ran into some homers. He gave up 5 hits, 4 of them were homers. Like it's not like he's just giving up hits left and right. He gave up 5 hits, 4 home runs. That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got 2 games left this weekend. Obviously, you play tonight and you play on Saturday. How do we like the rest of the weekend shaping up before we get to the Seggies?
Like I said, I think this will be a tight one tonight. If LSU can get a win, it'd be great, obviously. Like, I think that is going to be great for them. This will be a tough one. I think if you can handle their bullpen tonight is probably where the game will be won or lost at tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I think LSU – if LSU wins tonight, I like their chances of sweeping on Saturday. I know people are like, oh, they already won 2. It's easy. No. But, like, if they win tonight, I like their chances of sweeping. I like them winning the series regardless, whether they win or lose tonight. But if they win tonight and win the series tonight, they have a real chance to win all 3 on Saturday.
You will be facing their 2 better arms than what you saw last night. Obviously, you have Riley Quick tonight and then Zane Adams game 3. So 2 guys that they kind of backloaded what you want for game 2 and game 3. If you're an Alabama fan, like you feel good about it. Like, oh, we have best 2 arms. We played them close. For sure. And LSU side, Anthony Ianson, I expect to have another Anthony Ianson performance, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Like, be able to go 6 innings, get you 10 strikeouts. And I don't think he gives up he doesn't give up the home run quite as much as Kate Anderson does because he pitches more around the zone as opposed to going right at guys. Like, he has that big breaking ball he uses to strike out people. I think now the LSU offense.
Well, he goes at you. He goes at you. You just get more of him pitching backwards.
Yeah.
So you don't get guys being able to kind of ambush and really, I guess, challenge the fastball as much.
Exactly.
But he doesn't really pitch around. But he will pitch backwards.
Yes, and it's worked. LSU offense. Does it feel like they get on you early, or it feels like they get on you early and like put up a big number, but it always feels like a crooked number's coming, and it's either in the 5th inning, and you've seen it both times they've had, or multiple times they've had comebacks or started to score runs, but in the 5th and the 6th when they start to see you a couple times or get into the bullpen. So that's what I expect to see is maybe the LSU offense starts slow, and that's fine, but by the time you can't hold a good man down. And by the time you see you've seen Alabama's pitching a few times through the lineup, that's when LSU gets hot. So I do expect them to score more runs again. I don't know if it's going to be by the homer, but I do think they're going to continue to keep putting people on base whether you like it or not. It's just the hitting with runners in scoring position that and this happens in baseball. You saw it happen a ton last year where they put pressure on you. You just have to be able to capitalize. At some point, that dam's going to break.
Before we get to the segments, I want to ask this question to both y'all. First 5. Right? The first 5 innings of this game, total runs scored between both teams.
Tonight?
Yep.
6.
I was going to say 4-2.
I was going to say 5. I was going to say 5 runs. It's going to be like a 3-2-ish. There's going to be a 1 or 2 run game in the 5th inning because I think both starters are going to be good, and it's going to be both offenses grinding through at bats.
Well played ball game.
Yep. I think it's going to be a great ball game. All right.
I want to make a little sidebar too to what Lloyd just said, but we're talking about team like we're pissed about this team not getting hits or scoring runners with runners in scoring position. You're still looking at the 4th highest scoring offense in the league.
Yeah. Right.
I don't think they're that bad.
Yeah, I think
they're that bad.
They're gonna be all right. They're gonna be all right. All right. Do we have Seggies on this Friday?
I have a mistake of the day.
I love it. Let's hear it.
Haley Joel Osment, know the name?
Uh-huh.
He says dead people?
Yeah.
Well, now he sees Nazis. As I've been kidnapped by a fucking Nazi, was the exact quote from Haley Joel Osment after he was arrested for public intoxication and cocaine possession after attempting to board a ski lift with his helmet on backwards and no skis.
It's a good spot to be.
Yeah, it felt great. And then Shane Gillis quote tweeted goes, "Guys aren't even allowed to have fun anymore."
Oh man, that's a tough.
Yeah, you're just having a good time. Hit the slopes with the boys. Just
Yeah.
no skis. I just want to see the property.
Just no skis. I like that. Okay, curtain call.
I think it could be a joint curtain call here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ashton
Yeah.
Larson.
Ashton Larson. That was
Everybody
gonna be
good
my
with an
curtain
Ashton
call.
Larson curtain call?
I mean, pinch hit through on Homer. Guy's been grinding through it. And we look, curtain call to Jared and you and whoever else has said, hey, there's going to be opportunity for him, and he's going to have to be ready for it. And that opportunity was last night, and he was.
Yeah,
ready
not
for
only
it.
the moment, but it would be so easy for him to just like not be ready.
Right.
But another one at the top of the step, dugout guy, gets his number called. I think everybody was kind of like, whoa, Larson here instead of insert name, and absolutely comes through. And he did obviously the post-game interview and was like, it was incredible to get that moment again.
Yeah.
Like ball
You
player.
gotta remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do.
That's
no
right.
doubt.
I like
No
what
doubt.
you're doing.
All right. That's all we got. That was a pretty good, efficient sprint. What we got for the Easter weekend, Jared? You going to be in Houston? You coming back to New Iberia? What are you doing? Going to Dallas?
Coach, my wife has 3 sisters and nieces and nephews.
Yep.
I lose right now.
Yeah, you're going to Dallas. When
Not a
y'all,
question.
when y'all going to Dallas?
Today. We'll go today at some
Nice.
point.
What about you, Lloyd?
No plans.
You gotta let me know if
I know. That's what I'm
if you're
trying
going to LA.
I
'cause-
know.
And I
want
can't-
to
I wish
have-
I could give you the definite, but you're be on standby. You're
I'm on
the
standby. I'm on call.
first guy with the pen.
That's right. Ready to rock.
It's not. If it was up to me, you'd be in, but it's not my time.
No,
it's
just got to play your way on the squad sometimes.
That's it. That's it.
Stay hot.
You'll be the pinch hitter whenever we need it. I think there's a good chance.
Jared, do you hide Easter eggs for the fam? You dress up?
I don't know what I'll be doing this weekend. We'll see.
I'll be at the game.
I ain't never seen no black Easter bunny.
I am
I
going.
think they got to be in chocolate. They never used to make white chocolate Easter bunnies. They make chocolate Easter bunnies. What the hell are you talking about? The hell y'all been eating?
We run this holiday.
I'll be at the game on Saturday, and then I'll be in New Orleans on Sunday, seeing the nieces and nephews.
Yeah, fam.
That's it. All right. That's all we got on this beautiful Friday. Enjoy Easter weekend. We'll see you back on Monday live in studio from 6 to 8 p.m. with some players in studio after they get this conference win this weekend. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you don't like watching us, but you like listening to us anywhere you get your pods. We appreciate the love and support. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be back on Monday. Peace.